All right, so we're here at Germack Coffee with Steven and the historic Eastern Market. And we'll just start with when were you established and what does Germack do?
Well, this is the Germack Coffee Roasting Company. So we're like the newest, I guess, evolution within the Germack Roasting Company. Germack Pistachio started in Detroit, 1924. So we're coming on 80 years of roasting in Detroit. Germack Coffee has been here in this location for 2 years. So we started doing coffee a little bit over 2 years ago. But Germack has a long history in Detroit. Even before that, they were doing stuff in New York. So Germack's been like roasting and putting out great quality products for a long time. The coffee roasting company has kind of really been evolving in the last 2 years and understanding the realities of coffee as opposed to, you know, roasting pistachios, which is kind of a whole different industry and set of realities. But that's a long answer for your question. There's kind of two answers. Germack has been in Detroit for 80 years, doing their operations with pistachios, and the coffee's been here for 2 years.
Okay. And what have been some benefits to having your business in Detroit?
I guess we've really been able to take advantage of the fact that people in Detroit are really excited about just being really active about trying to grow, trying to really collaborate. People are starting to get excited just about the city in general. So you can use that to your advantage. Just having a community of people who want to work together, who want to say, you know, let's do this project. Let's, you know, why don't you come and do like a coffee pop-up in my bakery space? Why don't we do, you know, why don't you come and do a pop-up, you know, in our space, like that kind of thing. Be able to collaborate with people. And people outside of Detroit are excited about Detroit too. So that's another advantage, is that like when you meet people from other places, they might, you know, want to work with you just by virtue of being, you know, from Detroit. So it's different than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago when I would travel around and play music, when you say you're from Detroit, people would be like, oh, sorry. You know, and it's like, what? You know, even then you were mad. But now it's like you don't hear that anymore. Now finally, like more, it's so strange how it's changed, especially over the past couple of years. People are like, that's awesome. You know, I've had people say Detroit, that's what's up. And it's like, it's a different kind of thing. So there's a few, I think there's probably more, but there's a lot of advantages to being in Detroit right now.
Okay. And so how about some disadvantages of being in Detroit?
I think sometimes it's hard to reach out still to maybe people out in the suburbs. Like there's still kind of a little bit of a disconnect that we're fighting with. I mean, I don't know. I guess in general that's just it. It's like maybe it's not as easy to like. It's harder to form a larger. Maybe that's what happens in any city. Maybe neighborhoods become more compartmentalized. Yeah, I mean, besides that, you know, Eastern Market is a growing neighborhood. We've kind of, in particular, Eastern Market. So we've put ourselves down here because we know what it's going to be. We know that our operation, we're going to produce really quality products, and we're going to get them out, you know. So starting with like the cafe, maybe like during the week, sometimes Eastern Market isn't as busy as it's going to be. In 5 years, Eastern Market's going to be like a really, really active neighborhood. So it's kind of like, it's more industrial right now. That's how things like this start. I think that's the case with a lot of places. Different situation in Midtown. They've already gone through all that.
Okay, so overall you said Eastern Market's treated you well having a business here.
It's really good having a business here. And the other thing is, like, when we first started 2 years ago, I worked a lot more in the front as opposed to roasting that I do now. And I remember, like, some days, you know, there wasn't a lot of foot traffic except for people who go into Russell and, you know. But, so maybe when I started working as a barista, I'd have 10 customers in a day, you know, it'd be kind of a slower day. But every person was a really cool, interesting person. It was like the people that happened to wind up here are, I guess, adventurous. It's like I would meet people from all over the world who are curious about Detroit, curious about Eastern Market. So Eastern Market is like a destination. There's like a lot of history and a lot. So even like maybe if like the less adventurous souls on a weekday, Saturday is built in. Saturday you're gonna have a lot of action no matter what you do. During the week you get lucky because you get to meet like a honeymooning couple from Australia. You get to meet a student from Denmark who's studying like, you know, what the realities of Detroit mean for like their cities. Like they talk a lot about, they come to Detroit to understand how grassroots things work, how like the little guy can build something, you know. So that's, you know, every single person is interesting. Yeah.
Okay, and what advice would you give for a future business owner looking to move in Detroit?
I think you have to be careful. We talk a lot about Detroit, and you have to be careful, like, that, you know, don't just do it because it's Detroit. It's great to be in Detroit, but you have to have something. I think right now, everyone's going to want to come down and start doing stuff in Detroit. So I think the important thing is that, you know, I look at some people who are really, really, like, trying to brand Detroit, like, trying to use Detroit, but that's fine if you feel a connection to it. But I think the important thing is to, like, have your own idea and bring something to the table. To me, that's what I see a lot. Every once in a while, you know, I see people just, like, maybe, like, just trying to, like, jump in on it and throw the name out there. So I think in general, and maybe also, like, with what I would say to anybody who wants to start a business is just, like, you gotta have patience. You can't just come in and start doing it because, you know, I think this is probably in any book about starting businesses. You got to have that at least 5 years of it. Yep. And especially in Detroit, trying to do something new and unique, there's not always going to be an automatic, even though people look and say, Midtown's blowing up, you can do whatever you want, you know, but then I've also walked by a lot of those businesses that are opening up and they're dealing with the same realities, which is like, things are still evolving. People in certain areas are still getting used to being able to do these things in Detroit, you know? It's not everyone's going to, like, be an automatic, like, magnetic attraction like Whole Foods, you know. Sometimes you have to, like, be willing to, like, sit down and, like, build it and build what your business is and interface with the community, you know. Understand that, like, when people come in and ask you questions, that's helping you evolve. So just be willing to also, like, ask questions and listen and evolve that way to understand a little bit more about the needs. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.